We are proud of our outstanding faculty, coaches, and air officers commanding, representatives of whom appear on the stadium floor today to honor the class of 2024. Please join us in recognizing them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Frank Kendall, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David W. Alvin, the Chief of Space Operations, General B. Chan Saltzman, and the Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark. Present Hans! Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Wing Order Hans! gentlemen, please welcome the graduating class of 2024. Graduates, halt. Left, haste. Wing, present arms. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation. Order, arms, at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Colonel Ruth N. Seagrass, United States Air Force Academy Command Chaplain.
Please continue to pause as I offer this poetic prayer. Lord, after 4 years of grit and grace, for every mountain and trial they faced, for every command they will be privileged to lead, for every person they will influence, I pray they plant a seed of integrity to do what is right, a seed of courage to stay through dark nights, a seed of hope for brighter days, a seed of sacrifice to create better ways, a seed of respect for others' points of view, a seed of tenacity so they will endure, a seed of dignity and equality for all, a seed of mercy when others fall, a seed of forgiveness when they have been wronged, a seed of compassion when justice is prolonged, a seed of love that cares for their comrade in arms, a seed of commitment to do no unintended harm, a seed of sympathy for others' plights of view, especially for those who fall, those noble few. A seed of humility as they rise through the ranks, a seed of gratitude to always say thanks. For international partners and sister services too, may the seed of friendship always remain true. Now cadets go from USAFA, flying high into the sun. Class of 2024, God bless and well done. Amen.
Graduates, take seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Richard Clark, the Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is an absolute beautiful day here in Colorado, and I want to thank all of you for being here as we celebrate the United States Air Force Academy Class of 2024. Today, we're honored to welcome the 49th Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, as our commencement speaker. Madam Vice President, thank you for making the trip, and thank you for honoring our Academy and our graduates. We're also honored to have the 26th Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Frank Kendall, the 2nd Chief of Space Operations of the U.S. Space Force, General Chance Saltzman, and his spouse Jennifer, the 23rd Chief of Staff of the Air Force and my classmate, General David Alvin, and his wife Gina, President of the Falcon Foundation, General Retired Steve Lorenz, the Commander of Space Training and Readiness Command, Major General Tim Sheba and his spouse Sandy, the President and CEO of the Association of Graduates and Air Force Academy Foundation, Mr. Mark Hilly, the Executive Vice Chair of the Association of Graduates and the Air Force Academy Foundation, Lieutenant General Retired Mike Gould and his wife Paula, our good friend and staunch supporter, Mayor of Colorado Springs, Mayor Yemi Mobilati, members of the long blue line of the Academy, our local leaders, our community partners, and last, but certainly not least, my beautiful wife, Amy, who has been such a teammate, has given so much to this Academy and our class. Thank you, Amy. I want to thank all of you for your support that comes to our Academy from here in Colorado, in Washington, D.C., and throughout our military community. But now, Class of 24, here we are. It's our last time together, and I want to leave you today with one last joke, one last story, and one last selfie. Are you ready? Give me a pose. Hold on. Madam Vice President, could I ask you to join me in a selfie? Hey, I'm retiring tomorrow, so what do we got?
Okay, here we go.
Here we go, man. Thank you, ma'am. All right, I'm taking the picture of my kids down and I'm putting that in its place. That's awesome. Just kidding, Milo and Zoe. I know you're up there. As far as jokes go, though, everyone always says that I tell dad jokes. They are not dad jokes. These are good jokes. I mean, do you know when a joke actually becomes a dad joke? It's when it becomes apparent. You see what I did there? So we spent almost 4 years together. And who would have imagined the experiences that we've had? It was inspiring, it was difficult, challenging, and it required some real grit and perseverance for the events that we could have never imagined, and other people can't even imagine. From day one, you dealt with uncertainty and knowing nothing about the experiences that you were about to face. It was anything but normal. Your parents, your family members dropped you off at USAFA 4 years ago during the global pandemic, and they couldn't even give you a proper goodbye. They basically had to kick you out of the door and keep driving. So there was a lot of uncertainty from day one. You endured the brain tickles of COVID testing, lockdowns and quarantines, virtual classes, eating with plexiglass partitions in Mitchell Hall. And you made hard sacrifices when you couldn't go home during Thanksgiving or spring break. But you still kept your heads up. Your attitude stayed positive, and you persevered. Me and my dog Cairo stayed with you in the dorms. We played ping pong, board games, video games. We even did carrier landings. I got in a little trouble for that. But watching you through these challenges, I learned early on in your time at USAFA that you have a great ability to lead through uncertainty and overcome adversity. And those traits will prove invaluable throughout your career in the Air Force and Space Force and throughout your lives. Equally valuable will be your development as leaders of character. Always remember to put integrity first and live honorably in every aspect of your lives. Put service before self and lift others to be the best possible version of themselves. And always strive for excellence in all you do as you elevate your performance and your team's performance towards a common and noble purpose. Never forget what you've learned, and remember, your character is your destiny. I also want you to remember one of my favorite sayings, which I attribute to the legendary Air Force Academy football coach Fisher DeBerry. If you see a turtle sitting on a fence post, you know it didn't get there by itself. Let's take a moment to thank your families, your friends, your sponsor families, and your support networks, because they have supported you throughout your lives and your time at USAFA, and I'm grateful for them for giving us amazing men and women to join our academy. I know you are too, so let's give them a huge round of applause. Now that's an applause. But your families were not the only investors in your development. The cadet wing led by your commandant, your air officers commanding, and your academy military trainers who ensured that you had the finest military training and the ability to foster a culture of dignity and respect. So you will be ready to effectively lead your teams into future conflict and win our nation's wars. Your dean and her faculty ensured you had the academic background and critical thinking skills to solve the vexing problems that will characterize great power competition that we will face in the coming years and decades. Your athletic director, your coaches and trainers ensured that you are fit to fight and ready to compete on the fields of friendly strife, so that on other days, on other fields, you will bear the fruits of victory. Your flying training group and your Space Force element ensure that you are space-minded airmen and air-minded guardians who will dominate the high ground in the future battles. And finally, none of this happens without the 10th Air Base Wing, who ensures we have the food, facilities, security, medical care that we need to accomplish our mission. Team 10 truly is the lifeblood of the Air Force Academy. There are many others, to include my incredible headquarters staff, who had major roles in the development of the amazing young warriors who sit before us. So to everyone who is part of Team USAFA, I say thank you for investing in these leaders of character for our Air Force, our Space Force, and our country. There is one more person who I must recognize, and he is this class leader of character exemplar, Major Leroy Homer, Jr. For those of you unfamiliar, each class at our academy selects an exemplar whose qualities they hope to emulate. Every time someone says the class year 2024, they will shout the name of their exemplar. Leroy graduated from the academy in 1987, just a year after I did, and I knew him as a friend. He was the co-pilot and first officer aboard the hijacked United Airlines Flight 93 on September 11th, 2001, which crashed into an open field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Leroy's actions, along with the rest of his crew and the passengers on board, demonstrated exactly what it means to be a leader of character when they kept the terrorists from their intended target of the U.S. Capitol. He stands as a symbol to you and a reminder for the next generation of how we will never forget. Thank you, Leroy, and thank you to his family for being a part of Team USAFA and the class of 2024. Before I close, I promised you one more story. And I learned about this one when our family lived in South Dakota. The Lakota Native American tribe was known for having the greatest and fiercest warrior of any tribe in history. As part of Lakota warrior development, every 4 years, the Red Shirt Warriors, the most elite warriors of the tribe, extended the invitation to a select few to be tested and admitted to the special group. In the first test, the young warriors demonstrated their combat skills, but the last test was one of endurance. Each warrior was sent out without food or water and only a knife in possession for their protection. They were instructed to climb all the way up a sheer cliff and recover a red sash that had been tied to a stone at the very top of the mountain. When they returned, they were asked to hold one end of the sash at the top of their head and let it drop to the bottom of their feet. If the sash extended to the ground, the warrior gained membership and was considered a red shirt warrior. If the sash didn't reach the ground, they were not admitted, with no explanation as to why. What the warriors didn't know was that this was not only a physical test, but it was also a test of character. Because one sash was located at the top of the mountain, while another red sash, but a shorter sash, was located halfway up the cliff and easily found. If a warrior returned with a sash that did not extend to the ground, it was clear they had taken a shortcut. They were not warriors of character. You have also endured a 4-year test. And if you were given the Lakota test, I have no doubt that your sashes would all touch the ground. Today, you have your sashes around your waist, and you are absolutely ready to lead our Air Force and our Space Force as you support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I am extremely proud of what you accomplished, class of 24. And it was the greatest honor of my career to serve you at our academy. Thank you for being my class. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the 26th Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Frank Kendall, to the podium.
Congratulations, class of, wait for it, 2024. All right. Today is a day you will remember and reflect upon for the rest of your lives, and for very good reasons. You've accomplished a great deal, and you and the families who, as General Clark said, invested so much in you have every reason to celebrate. As a graduate of West Point, long ago and far away, and not nearly as far above sea level, I recall having a certain degree of cynicism about the institution I spent 4 years at. Some of you may have similar feelings about the Air Force Academy, but I can guarantee you that the time will come when you will appreciate the full value of your time here. I'm delighted to welcome you to the community of Military Academy old grads. Well done, class of 2024. You are about to embark on a new chapter in your own stories, a chapter you've been eager to begin for several years. I'd like to talk a little bit about your future as officers and what that may look like. But before I do, like General Clark, I'd like to offer my congratulations to the parents, family members, sponsor families, and all those who have supported our graduates here today. Our graduates wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for everything you have done and will continue to do in support of the nation's newest Air Force and Space Force second lieutenants. And thank you to Vice President Harris for being here today to recognize and celebrate the efforts of these graduates and the importance of this institution. Thank you to the incredible U.S. Air Force Academy team, who together build leaders of character. You have done and continue to do fantastic work that will pay dividends for years to come. I'd like to especially recognize Lieutenant General Rich Clark for all he has done to shape this institution and the future leaders of our Air Force and Space Force. This is my third and final opportunity to share the stage at graduation with Rich Clark. Rich had an incredibly difficult job from day one, and he met every challenge head on, just as I expect from a former U.S. Air Force Academy linebacker. There's a monument at my alma mater with a quote from General George Marshall during World War II. I want an officer for a secret and dangerous mission. I want a West Point football player. When the Air Force needed an officer for the mission of leading the U.S. Air Force Academy through stressful times, we picked an Air Force football player who was more than up for that challenge. It's been my great pleasure to have worked with Rich for the past 3 years. Please join me in thanking Lieutenant General Clark for his exceptional leadership as a Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy. To the class of 2024, you should be immensely proud of your accomplishments. As General Clark pointed out, you have lived up to the qualities of your exemplar, and we have full confidence that you will continue to do so. As Leroy Homer's life demonstrates, some of our nation's most inspiring leaders have been graduates of military academies, beginning their careers on a foundation of discipline, integrity, character, service, and excellence. You are joining that select group and will be well prepared for the challenges you are sure to encounter. You are beginning your careers during a strategic competition that is the greatest challenge our country has faced in modern times, perhaps in our entire history, driven by what our national security strategy calls our pacing challenge. That pacing challenge, the People's Republic of China, has designed and built its armed forces with the goal to deter and defeat the United States' ability to project power, particularly in the Western Pacific. That challenge and many others are waiting for you. Are you ready for those challenges, class of 2024? There you go. I believe you are. The Department of the Air Force was established in 1947 in the shadow of World War II, and the years since were not without conflict, but they have marked the most peaceful and prosperous era in human history. The United States military, working together with our allies and partners, has defeated regional aggressors, deterred direct conflict between great powers, and witnessed an explosion of domestic growth under a rules-based international order supported by and dependent upon American leadership. That heritage is under threat. Today, America is competing with those who seek to attack the self-evident truth that the power of government is derived from the consent of the governed, and replace it with a much more dangerous world based on the false idea that might makes right. Aggressive authoritarians are threatening and attacking freedoms within and beyond their borders. America, and now you, must stand ready to deter aggression and defeat it if deterrence is not successful. As of today, you are among the leaders tasked to meet this challenge. As officers, you will be responsible not only for your own conduct, but also for setting and enforcing standards, and for the operational readiness, culture, and command climate of your organizations. You will be responsible for applying rapidly changing technology to military operations. You will be responsible to the American people for the security and for the stewardship of the resources the American taxpayers provide into your trust. Most of all, you will be responsible for the American sons and daughters who will come under your leadership. As a leader, you will have more power than you may realize to shape your new organizations, for better or for worse. Always remember that it's not what you say, but the conduct you accept that will be the standard you have set for your team to follow. Our airmen and our guardians are our greatest strategic advantage. You are now a part of that strategic advantage. Our men and women in uniform are professional, trained, educated, equipped, and empowered like no other military in the world. They are motivated by the values and freedoms that as Americans we all hold dear. They, you, and all of us who serve swear an oath to uphold an inspired and inspiring Constitution. That oath places our allegiance in a democratic process and the rule of law, rather than a particular leader or party. My mantra as Secretary of the Air Force has been an old Army adage: one team, one fight. We are all part of a much larger team. Our military is battle-tested with joint experience and a network of allies and partners that share our interests and values, something our authoritarian competitors cannot match. So welcome to the team, my soon-to-be fellow old grads. Congratulations again, class of 2024. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our featured speaker. Vice President Harris has said her mother often told her, "You may be the first to do many things, but make sure you are not the last." That advice and example is a fitting model for the leadership we know the class of 2024 will offer our country. I'm pleased to introduce a leader who has followed her mother's guidance and set that example. As Vice President, she has traveled all around the world to strengthen our alliances and partnerships. She's met with more than 150 world leaders. She has stood up for international rules and norms and our democratic values. From the Situation Room to military bases around the world, she has been a strong advocate for a strong U.S. military and strong global leadership, all in support of American security and American prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the first woman to be elected Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Thank you. Good morning, and congratulations to the cadets of Air Force Academy Class of 2024. To Secretary Frank Kendall, General Chance Saltzman, General David Alvin, Lieutenant General Richard Clark, and to all the friends and loved ones and sponsor families of these extraordinary graduates, thank you all for what you have done to support them in this journey. And again, I applaud all that you have done every day. In 2020, as a United States Senator, it was my privilege to nominate 5 cadets to this class: Lindley Davis, Elizabeth Deards, Kyle Motes, Noel Morani, and Jarixa Vega. And as Vice President, I know firsthand the excellence produced by this academy. With me here today is Lieutenant Colonel Deborah Starkey, class of 2009. The first Space Force Guardian to serve as military aide to the Vice President. Lieutenant Colonel Zachary Fulton, class of 2007, and Major Anthony Navaroli, class of 2013, who flew me here on Air Force 2. And since taking office, I have flown nearly 400,000 miles across continents with the help of graduates of this very academy. So it is my firsthand experience that this academy produces some of the greatest pilots in the world. Indeed. Cadets, today you join generations of Americans who have graduated from this extraordinary institution. And let us reflect then on what that has required of you. You survived Beast and Recognition, Triple Threats, and Core Astro. And many of you even made it through Saigon Hall. Many. Together, you also celebrated victories at Acceptance Day and Commitment, and at Ring Dance and Job Drops. And I am told, on occasion, you did some celebrating off campus as well. At Parkway. And at Dub House. Mostly, apparently, on Thursdays. And I am informed that if you came back a little late and missed DI, or if you were one of the cadets who decided to, quote, borrow the superintendent's license plate, that today you could still have some tours to march off. Well, and I think your parents and family would be happy to know, you should know that I believe in the power of redemption. So to all whom this applies, listen carefully. I hereby waive any confinements and restrictions for minor violations of the cadet disciplinary system. You're welcome. Class of 2024. 4 years ago, you arrived here as strangers. And today, you graduate as one class and one family, united in selfless dedication to service and to our country. I believe there is no more noble work that one can do than to serve our nation in uniform. On behalf of our Commander-in-Chief, President Joe Biden, and our entire nation, it is my honor to congratulate you on taking your place in the long blue line. Today you join the United States Joint Force, our sword and shield. Today you join the ranks of the United States military, warriors who possess extraordinary skill, discipline, and dedication. Today, you join the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. Next month, we mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day, that shining moment of Allied bravery and sacrifice, made possible because of America's air power. In the months leading up to the landings, it was our pilots, our planes, and our air crews that knocked the enemy from the sky. It was America's forces in the air that bombed train tracks and fuel depots to prevent Nazi reinforcements from reaching the front lines, and helped defeat tyranny and fascism in Europe. 80 years ago, over the beaches of Normandy, America won control of the skies, and we have kept it ever since. From air-to-air combat over the Korean Peninsula, to providing close air support in Vietnam, from our dominance in Desert Storm and the Balkans, to Iraq and Afghanistan, America's record of air and space superiority has been unmatched and unbroken. And today, around the world, our allies are in awe, and our adversaries in fear of America's dominance in the air. We see it on NATO's eastern flank, where our air patrols deter Putin from extending and expanding his war of aggression. We see it in Ukraine, where our weapon deliveries and missile warnings help the people of Ukraine defend their homes and homeland, their sovereignty and territorial integrity. We see it in the Indo-Pacific, where our presence ensures a free and open region. We see it in space, where America's military watchful eye protects and supports our forces. And we see it in the Middle East, where last month, when Iran launched an unprecedented attack on Israel, it was our air and space forces that mounted an unprecedented defense, along with our allies and partners. More than 300 drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles were fired at Israel. And thanks to our airmen and guardians, 99% of those threats did not hit their target. Cadets, as it has been for generations, America's national security and global stability depend on our strength in the sky and space. And as officers, our nation is counting on you to preserve and extend that strength, including, I will add, through your ability to innovate. Since the days of Kitty Hawk, the United States has led the world in aerospace innovation. The first modern drone, the first GPS satellite, the first stealth aircraft. And you are uniquely positioned to carry on this legacy of innovation. Because after all, your generation grew up online. Technology that might be unfamiliar or even intimidating, maybe to some people on the stage, I don't know, but to previous generations, is intuitive and even exciting to you. Here at the Academy, it is you that built aircraft designed to neutralize drones. You who learned how to use AI to protect military technology in space. And as a point of personal pride, as chair of the National Space Council, I was particularly proud to learn that last November, you designed, built, and launched your own satellite, Falcon XX, SAT-X. Falcon SAT-X. And I am confident that as the nature of warfare changes, you will make sure that no one will ever match, much less exceed, America's military power. As you innovate and shape our future, be guided then by the foundational beliefs that have defined our nation for centuries. Today is not only a graduation, it is a commissioning. In a few moments, you will take an oath, not to a person, not to a political party, but to the Constitution. An oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. An oath to uphold our nation's highest ideals of liberty, equality, and justice, and to preserve and protect our democracy. This tradition goes back to the founding of our nation. And even in a world of continuous change, this oath, well, it remains constant. And I am confident that both in and out of uniform, this oath and the ideals it represents will guide you in all that you do. Class of 2024, I will conclude with this. As 4 degrees, as has been mentioned, you chose an exemplar to inspire and guide you, Major Leroy Homer, Jr., a 1987 graduate of this academy and first officer of United Flight 93 on September 11th, 2001. As has been said, Major Homer was a true American hero who gave his life to protect our country. And here today, as my honored guests, I've invited Major Homer's wife, Melody, and daughter, Laurel, to join us. And Melody and Laurel, thank you for all your family has done to serve our nation. So looking out at these cadets, we know Major Homer's vision and his spirit lives on. And graduates then, finally, I will say, wherever you go from here, you are ready. You all are ready. You have the skills, you have the knowledge, and the strength of character to meet any challenge. You are warriors. You have dedicated yourselves to the service of our nation, and America's security relies on you. I know you will make our country proud, and as your Vice President, it is my profound honor to congratulate you on this tremendous accomplishment and to soon address you as graduates of the United States Air Force Academy. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class president for 2024, Cadet First Class Adedapo Adeboyejo, the Summer Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class Haley Kim, the Fall Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class Isaac Bates, and the Spring Cadet Wing Commander, Cadet First Class Abigail Worley, will present the class gifts to the Vice President of the United States.
Vice President Harris, for your dedicated service to our nation, to the United States Air Force, to the United States Space Force, and to the United States Air Force Academy, it is with great pride that today's graduating class designates you, by acclamation, an honorary member of the United States Air Force Academy's class of 2024. As tangible evidence of that honor, we ask that you accept this painting by Justin Hayward on behalf of the United States Air Force Academy. We also present you with our class coin as a token of our appreciation.
Ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Linnell Latendra, the Dean of the Faculty.
Well, thank you. And Madam Vice President, before presenting the entire graduating class to you, I would like to highlight a few individuals for special recognition. First, I call your attention to the 99 distinguished graduates who are listed at the top of your program. These cadets, by their overall performance, have placed in the top 10% of their class and have demonstrated excellence in accomplishing the academic, military, and athletic requirements for graduation. If we observed the custom of academic honors, each would be graduating either summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude. Instead, we use the term distinguished graduate, more fitting for its promise of distinguished service to this nation. At this time, would the distinguished graduates from the Major Leroy W. Homer Jr. class please rise and be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. Those soon-to-be lieutenants, identified in your program with an S beside their name, are graduating with Academy Scholar distinction, having completed a challenging academic enrichment path through their 4-year core curriculum as part of our Martinson Honors Program. We would also like to recognize those cadets who have placed in the top 10% of our academic, military, and athletic programs. Identified in your program with a star by their names are cadets graduating with academic distinction. Those with a wreath beside their names are cadets graduating with military distinction. And those identified in the program with a lightning bolt beside their name are cadets graduating with athletic distinction. Those exceptional 13 cadets graduating with all 3 distinctions are identified with a star within a wreath resting on 2 lightning bolts. Please stand as I call your name. Jonathan J. Lowe. Luke Michael George Robinson. Luke Joseph Anderson. Daniel Heredo Avala. Gentry John Lamb. James Morrison Leland IV. Regan Brooke Hansen. Alexandra Denise Griffith. Rebecca Ann Wasenick. Owen Michael Graham. Grace Ann Sublett. Camille Darlene Beisch. Holtman Matthew Dunham. Congratulations, you may be seated. In conclusion, a total of 974 Air Force Academy cadets in this year's class have completed all graduation requirements, and 258 of them, a full 27% of this class, will have their first assignment in graduate school. We are also pleased to have in the class of 2024, 15 international students representing Cambodia, Cameroon, Kosovo, Moldova, Panama, Peru, Philippines, Republic of Korea, Rwanda, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, Tunisia, and Vietnam. Will all of our international students please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Please be seated. And now, Madam Vice President, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the United States Air Force Academy Major Leroy W. Homer, Jr., class of 2024, and recommend each as worthy of the Bachelor of Science degree.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Candace L. Pipes, Director of Admissions, and Dr. Hal A. Taylor, Jr., Associate Dean for Student Academic Affairs and Academy Registrar, will now present the diplomas to the graduating class of 2024.
Will the distinguished graduates please rise and come forward to receive your diplomas? Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, joins us on stage to congratulate each of the graduates of the class of 2024.
The class of 2024's #1 cadet in overall performance and #1 cadet in military performance, Jonathan J. Lowe.
Luke Michael George Robinson.
Luke Joseph Anderson.
Daniel Gerardo Avila.
Samuel Benjamin Widman.
Gentry John Lamb.
James Morrison Leland IV.
Regan Brooke Hansen.
Alexandria Denise Griffith.
Isabel Constance Marie Dernlin.
The class of 2024's #1 cadet in academic performance, Taylor Hayes Edwards.
Emma Grace Dersham.
Rebecca Ann Wozniak.
Eileen Zhao.
Owen Michael Graham.
Jack Thomas Heller.
Madeline Lily Latendra.
Maya Grace Mandium.
Grace Ann Sublette.
Samuel John Brennan.
Shelby Ann Wood.
Aaron Michael Pigeon.
Massimo Alfredo Bergola.
Andrew Graham Schaefer.
Alexandra Renee Masher.
Abigail Elise Worley.
Isaiah Andrew Stickley.
Camille Darlene Beisch.
Jacob Thaddeus Monax.
Amanda Jo Schaefbauer.
Holtman Matthew Dunham.
Alejandro Posadas Nava.
Marion Vera Posner.
Sophie Brianne Callahan.
Emily Ruth Hoffman.
Sarah Madeline Treese.
Isabella Ann Mullally.
Gretchen Lorraine Knox.
James Patrick Christian.
Mason Ridge Bammer.
Brennan Parker Thompson.
Brandon Christopher Burrow.
Cole Julian Hegg.
Alexander Jonathan Simmons.
Abigail Elizabeth Cook.
Brett Matsutoshi Castro.
Bryce Allen Parsons.
Daniel Takeo Hayase.
Allison Marie Langenberg.
Erica Charlotte Gallus.
Peyton Riley Rawson.
Kinsey Emerson Etzelmiller.
Nathaniel Alexander Labar.
Cassidy Marie Kubra.
Cole Erickson Bidding.
Olivia LaRue Hilburn.
Logan Shea O'Brien.
Jordan Tyler Allen.
Angelina Marcine Locricchio.
Gabrielle Reagan Wilson.
Lissa Avery Cagle.
Caitlin Ann Keating.
Luke Benjamin Matlock.
Megan Elizabeth Dumond.
David Miguel Calvo.
Alexis Marie Try.
Holly Jean Boudreau.
Helen Chow Agee.
Christopher Michael Raffson.
Joseph Russell Kinnerson.
Savannah Lee Champagne.
Cassandra Helen Beisch.
Sean Michael Andress.
Aaron Irunda Loya.
Michael Fitzgerald Fay.
Daniel Jacob Smith.
Karen Anna Kuzinski.
Amber Maria Norman.
Justin Keelan Berry.
Kathleen Marie Geyer.
Wendell MacArthur Roberson.
Chase Arthur Clements.
Grace Teresa Trainer.
Isaac Myers Abramovitz.
Lance Edward Weston.
Ryan Heath Lilly.
Michael Patrick McAllister.
Andrew James Crawford.
Ha N Shen.
Giacomo Conde.
Jackson Alexander Cook.
Caitlin Donna Thompson.
Hannah Grace Castellan.
Adedapo David Adeboyejo.
Gregory Albion Estes.
Brock Edward Holmgreen.
John Pan.
Zachary James Holder.
Sydney K. Hayborn.
Good job, Justin.
Will the remainder of the graduates of 2024 please come forward by squadron to receive your diplomas? Ladies and gentlemen, joining the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, on stage, to your left, Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Frank Kendall, and the Superintendent of the Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark. To your right, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General David W. Alvin, and the Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Gavin P. Marks.